I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
Titans, go!
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It is episode 19 of the Mad Titan Podcast with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington. I know you're getting this later than normal. I apologize. This past week has been extremely hectic. I will tell you all about it in a moment, but I'm glad to be back with you all nonetheless. I will be riding solo once more again, and I'm be honest with y'all, sometimes I'm like, yo, I don't know if I just want to talk by myself, because I think I might be bored to y'all or some shit. I know y'all like hearing what I gotta say, but I'm like, I want people like, yo, I want to hear Jay bouncing my ideas. Not I want to hear Jay sound like he's a half sociopath talking to him damn self. But it's good no matter what. I am going to give you this news for those who are new to the podcast. What I do here is I give you all the happenings in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes, and basically only those with cape, cowl, and mask, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, I'd be watching every goddamn show and every movie every single time. And I try to have somewhat of a life. I don't have much of it because I do a lot of things, but that would take what little bit I have left, and I'd be like, yo, I hate everybody. But nonetheless, I enjoy this. I love being here with y'all, so you know we're going to have some fun no matter how long this episode is. I got something great coming for you guys later on in the episode towards the end. I got a chance to sit down and talk to my friend, one of the hosts of DC Daily, Mr. Hector Navarro, and we talked a lot about how he got started in the geek world, how he elevated to the status in which he has in the world, where he is currently in DC at DC Daily, and what does he see into the future, amongst a bunch of other things. So you guys are going to want to rock with me all the way through this episode until you get to that part, because trust me, the interview is pretty damn dope, and I was kind of honored he wanted to sit down with your boy. But my past week was pretty damn fun. I can say that I had a lot of great shows and a lot of different things I had to do. It was nothing just like really stand-up wise or whatever the case may be. Monday I did a fun show again at Mickey's in West Hollywood. I've always had a blast doing that show. It's never been a bad time or whatever the case may be. Tuesday, what did I do Tuesday? Let me see. Let me check it again. Hold on, let me check the calendar because I made sure I had Monday's date. Tuesday, Tuesday I did this show in Placentia, California. Now, if you look at it on paper, it sounds like placenta, the space where a baby gets its nutrients from when it is being gestated in the womb. And it was very, very fun. Shouts out to Matt Cole, who had me on the show. I also brought along my friend Michelle Stevenson, and my homeboy Trenton Davis was on the show. Lisa Curry, Jocelyn Sharp. It was a fun night out in a hellified conservative bar. Like, yo, it's a sports bar and grill that only had Fox News on the TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that don't let you know people want to get drunk with their politics and just go one way, I was like, well, there's a black dude probably won't make it out of here. So let me leave my last will and testament in the form of a tweet, because I ain't got shit to leave to nobody. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it was fun. They had a bumper sticker, though, that caught my attention, and it made me be like, wow. The bumper sticker said, while you're kneeling for the flag, you can kiss my ass. I was like, do I acknowledge this bumper sticker while I'm on stage telling jokes, or do I want to leave here alive? But it was fun doing that. I had a good time with that. What else? Valentine's Day, I was with me. I went to the gym twice. Saturday, I got a chance to do a show with my girl Samantha Hale again, but this time it was for the Greater Los Angeles chapter of Mensa. Yo, you know Mensa is like the geniuses, all the smartest of smart peoples who come together and they talk about how smart they are, and you know they celebrate their smartness And I was like, yo, I ain't read a good school book in a minute, but I could try to hold a professional conversation. But then we got to tell jokes from him. And here's the thing, it's a lot of middle to older age people there. And you're wondering, like, yo, what jokes can I tell them to the point where they won't get offended or they won't get turned off and just not pay attention to your set. And when Sam was hosting the show, she went up and she brought up, look, do you guys want a dirty-ish type show? And some of them got rowdy, and then she did a joke about doing a stand-up show with a porn star, and the porn star showed her titties, and so she showed the porn star her asshole was still tight, and I watched an old lady in a walker walk out. She was on one of them walkers where you sit your ass down, and she stood up, turned the walker around, and walked slowly out the door. But nonetheless, it was a very fun time. I was honored to be there. The crowd had a great time with me, and that's what matters the most, man. You can't get mad at something like that. You know, opportunities to do things more and more diverse than what you normally would do are always great. So I can't be mad at all. I just can't. I know a lot of people get upset, but why would you? Nonetheless, let's get right into the news. Let's kick it off with some of the Marvel news. And the biggest news of this week has been Captain Marvel herself, Brie Larson. Now, Brie Larson made a statement. This is what Academy Award-winning actress made a statement. And she says she doesn't want to see basically her press junkets all have just straight white men, because that is the majority of what she's always seeing. She wants more diversity. So she wanted for her for one of her profiles, she picked Marie Claire UK cover story for her Marie Claire. That is why from her Marie Claire UK cover story, she handpicked journalist Kia Brown to profile her. Now, this is why this is significant. Brown is a freelance journalist and author from New York who is perceptive, creative, and whip smart. She is also a woman of color and has cerebral palsy, a neurological disorder that affects movement, motor skills, and muscle tone. Larson is a fierce advocate for sexual assault survivors, as we all know, and she told Brown in her interview from Marie Claire that she was sick of big press tours being, quote, overwhelmingly white and male. All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk about it. This sparked a lot of controversy this week, and it literally sparked controversy as far as making white dudes mad. I know I have a lot of white dudes who listen to me, a lot of white dudes who follow me, and I want you to hear me and hear me well before you get in your feelings, y'all. If you've been a fan of Jay Washington, if you rocked with me on Hero Mad Titan, if you rocked with me on Trusty Sidekick, if you see me anywhere, you know I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to pull no punches. So here's the thing. Brie has a point. She is not saying she does not want white male journalists, but you see so many, and that has been a big issue a lot of times. There are many men and women of color, qualified ones, who are literally pushed to the side for their white male counterparts. If you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on social media in general, you know I've been a big proponent about diversity. And I've always said and made it clear, I'm not just talking about myself. I know as a black man, there are some opportunities I will not have because I am a black man. And there are some opportunities I will be granted because I am a black man. But what I always say is that diversity should be a thing that is taken seriously and not just a statement you make to look good. There are so many companies who out here nowadays, they will just say, oh, we're about being diverse. Oh, we're about showing we have inclusion, and they don't. They just fill off a checklist of one and done, and that is their idea of diversity. And then when certain things come up that it would be best looking for the company to use these qualified members on their staff who are the diverse type for different projects, they want to go away from that because you have somebody who's like, oh, you should just let me get that. Case in point, when Coco came out last year, there are many Latinx men and women who are well qualified in journalism to cover that film, to understand what the Latinx experience is, and to talk and converse with the cast and get something and get a perception and go into a level of questioning that no one else can understand. Same with Black Panther, same with Wonder Woman, having women do that. There's nothing wrong with inclusion and diversity. Stop feeling like, guys, that you're being left out and being excluded, because you're not. If you have to take this to heart, if you have to get upset and mad because an Academy Award winning actor who goes on numerous press tours is saying she wants her press tours to look different from the people she talks to as opposed to the norm, don't get mad at that. Celebrate that shit. Appreciate it. That is what needs to happen more. I saw all these tweets from some journalists like, oh man, because I'm a white guy, I guess I can't cover news anymore. No, that's because your ass is reaching and you fucking being all in your feelings. And stop that. It's not that. We are in a day and age where people are finally learning, which they should have been learned, that this country, this world is based around a multitude of colors, nationalities, races, creeds, religions, sexualities, orientations, all of that. And so we have to embrace all of that. Some people who try hard to act like things don't exist, the pushback is what makes things worse. So for Brie Larson to use her platform to want to push that, and also, can we drop the bullshit that she's just trying to pander and use this to push a movie? No, it doesn't matter if it's a film she's doing now, if it's a film she's doing later. She is using her platform and the position in which she is in to make that statement. Y'all gotta kill that noise. Talking about, oh, she's just trying to pander to black people. Oh, she's just trying to pander to people to get people to see the movie. People are going to see Captain Marvel regardless. I don't think people understand that. Anytime Marvel or DC put out a movie, no matter what you may personally feel about that, there are going to be a swarm of people who are going to make sure they run to the box office to see this. Some are going to do it multiple damn times. So stop with that. Please. Please stop that. You got to be more open and accepting and understanding we have to accept everybody. I know so many places, businesses and more that will say we're about diversity and inclusion, and they have a black guy and they're like, okay, we're done with our diversity. Or they'll go, we got a black guy and a black woman, so that counts all our diversity. No, I'm not saying you have to completely overwhelm your staff with just being black men, black women, but there are more out there who are just as qualified as anybody else, and you should be allowing that opportunity to happen. I'm not saying throw people in anywhere. Yo, you would not catch me just putting motherfuckers on this podcast because they black. You will not catch me putting them because they're family or friends. I bring people on here who I know can talk this stuff. They're qualified to talk it. So it's the same thing all across the board, y'all. Let's be realistic and honest for a second. Y'all just gotta be realistic and honest. I mean, that's the best way to be. Can we agree to that? Can we please? Huh? Thank you. All right, let's move on. So it seems that the Loki series on Disney Plus, it now officially has a showrunner and a writer. So this is moving forward, and some plot details as well. So let me give you what this is. For my damn internet want to act up, but I'm to keep it real with y'all. So it has gotten a Rick and Morty writer as its showrunner. So Michael Walden, who is one of the writers for Rick and Morty, he will write the pilot episode, act as show creator, and executive produce the series. Now, it's not been officially confirmed yet about what the show will be, because Tom Hiddleston will be reprising his role. So this ain't no extra Loki, no new Loki, or nothing like that. It's possible that the show is going to follow Loki as the trickster and shapeshifter as he pops up throughout human history as an unlikely influencer on historical events. So basically, I call it Loki going to be like a weird-ass Forrest Gump all through history. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm here for it. I'm all the way here for it. I can't be mad at that. I think it's interesting. It's a limited series, so we're not expecting to get anything with a major run so much. We're not expecting to get anything with like going into 2-3 seasons and then it gets real convoluted. It starts making us look at the Loki character weird because of course he got his neck snapped with a thumb in fucking Avengers Infinity War. Oh yeah, if you haven't learned now, occasionally I'll swear about a few things. This is not safe for work unless your work is like, yo, just keep it all the way real, and I'm here with you. But to get a limited series, 8 to 10 episodes of that, I think it's 8, but just to have something nice to hold us over. I always have to bring up to people, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started out that way, as a Hold You Over series. It originally was supposed to be the arc between movies because we did not have as many Marvel films coming out. Then after we started getting more through Marvel Studios themselves, it became a show all to its own. It will still reference things, but it doesn't. All right, so we got that. Let's move on. The Black Widow movie. Now, this is kind of interesting. They've enlisted the disappearance of Eleanor Rigby scribe Ned Benson to rewrite the script for the film. That is crazy. Now, I don't know if it was a bad thing. I don't know if it was a bad script that was already written, or it was other things. But this is what I'm hearing from a buddy of mine, a good friend, Jeff Snyder over at Collider. He says Marvel executives were quite impressed with Benson's work on the disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, especially on the Jessica Chastain-led her portion of the film, and felt he was the best person for the job as they prepare to tell the never-before origin story of one of the original members of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's going to be a slippery slope, but there's more. Check this out. Now, even though it was unable to be obtained full confirmation, it's believed that Scarlett Johansson herself may have been equally impressed with Benson's work and brought him to Black Widow after reading his script for My Aryan Princess, which is an in-development film adaptation of the 7-part Dallas Morning News article from 2017 that told the story of a woman who risked her life to bring down the Aryan Brotherhood in Texas. Now, it does not change the director. Okay, Kate Shortland is still set on board to direct this film, right? Now, the script was previously submitted by Jack Schaefer of The Hustle, and he's doing the Vision of Scarlet Witch. But you never know. So I think they're trying to make sure they get the story right. I still personally believe, like, why do we need this movie at this point in junction? Let's be honest. We've had Black Widow for well over 18 films total. I mean, she hasn't been in all 18, but for over 18 films. Do we need her origin story now? Why should we wait this long to have gotten this? I'm not discrediting Scarlett Johansson. I'm not discrediting the character. It's just what you are about to bring is unnecessary. You are going to try to make a major blockbuster film of a character we've already seen live life, have these different adventures, these different experiences, and go forward. And it's just not necessary to have her character have an origin movie. I feel like you're just doing stuff just to be doing it at that point. If you want to know how I truly, truly feel, but it's not my call. That's Kevin Feige and Disney and Marvel's call. And so they believe this is the best bet for them to go. And I guess we just gonna have to see what it all plays out. But I personally just don't get it. I don't get it. I want you all to let me know if you get it. If you think this is something we need to really have. Let me know if you think, like, yo, we really need a Black Widow origin movie at this point. And I have to make sure I keep stating that at this point. If we'd have got this in phase 1, phase 2, I'm good. It doesn't take away from anything. Especially when you get around time towards the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, it would have flowed in perfectly. But now, do we really need it? That's a question I just want to ask, okay? That's pretty much all the Marvel news and Marvel stories I got. I did not get a chance to see The Gifted this week. Like I said, things have been so crazy and hectic. Oh yeah, before I close out Marvel news, there have been some photos from season 2 of Cloak and Dagger that have come out. Nothing really amazing. Just want you to know there's a teaser poster which teases mayhem, of course, and then we got some scenes of them like in a party or something. So we'll be getting more and more of that as that comes along. Of course, like I said, Captain Marvel news will be dropping, more Avengers Endgame news, more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. news, which I think that's another thing. I believe the date was pushed up. I would try to find it, but I don't want to kill anything I got right here, right now. But yeah, I believe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was pushed up earlier this year, so that should be pleasing to the fans who are waiting on that, myself included. I think it's just so weird. I think it's so weird that they've already announced that we got season 7 coming. And it just means like it don't add no extra hype into a cliffhanger. Like I want to go into season 6 and watch it like, yo, could this be the last season? Could they be finally killing everybody off? Could Mac finally get some emotion and some real character? Because that dude is like 6'10", and he just stand there wooden as shit. You are a tall black dude who missed your calling in the NBA. Okay, maybe you would have been in the D League or the G League, but you'd have been in the league. But no, you want to act on screen so you can be sexy flexy, but you ain't flex nothing. You like a popsicle stick that stand there with muscles. That's how I felt. But it is what it is. Let's shoot over to DC news. In DC news, one of the biggest stories that came out is Ben Affleck went on Jimmy Kimmel this week to talk about why he is officially no longer Batman. Now, if you needed any other confirmation, because of course it was said that Matt Reeves, the Batman, would focus on a younger Bruce Wayne, not Batman Year One, with just a younger Bruce Wayne handling things, and it's going to be a noir detective film. And then people are like, well, maybe Affleck will pop up at the end, and we can still have him. No, it is officially over and done, okay? All doubt can be let alone. Y'all can just literally live your life and know it's not happening, okay? It is not happening. There is no more Batfleck. There's no Batfleck. Say that 3 times fast. So this is what he said to Jimmy Kimmel. He said, quote, I tried to direct a version of it and worked with a really good screenwriter, but just couldn't come up with the version. I couldn't crack it. And so it was time to let someone take a shot at it, when it comes to walking away from the role. And they got some really good people. So is this the thing we should roll with? Is this a thing that we should actually believe? Because a lot of, we heard about him just getting out of rehab and things like that. Are these things that we should believe, or should we just be like, okay, fine, good, next? I think people put too much emphasis on an actor when they decide they want to step out of a role, and you should not do that. You should if that actor feels like their time has come, if it feels like they can't do it anymore and they want to move on to another project within their life, or just move on from that project, let it be. Let it be. We can't just, I don't know. People just always want to hold on and think somebody has to play something forever. And sometimes people just don't want to do it. You lose the enthusiasm. You lose the passion, the luster for it. The shit fades away like a Tinder relationship that you was like, I swiped right on you because you swiped right on my heart. And we going to be together forever. And you just have a conversation for like 3 weeks on Tinder, then your phone get cut off and y'all don't connect anymore. I don't know why that went that damn deep, but that ain't a personal story. I just felt like I should tell y'all that. Speaking of the DCEU, the Jared Leto Joker projects have been reportedly scrapped, y'all. So, as you know, Jared Leto was supposed to get a solo Joker film, and he was supposed to get a Harley Quinn and Joker type movie. Well, evidently DC and Warner Brothers have decided to go another direction. They've scrapped all of the Joker products. They're not going to use Jared Leto's Joker. The only Joker we're going to have is Todd Phillips' Joker that comes out in October, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I'm not sad to see the Grand Theft Auto version of Joker go. Okay? I tried to watch Suicide Squad on TNT a couple days ago because I was at the house and I was like, I don't feel like leaving. So I was like, let's see what's on. And it was like Suicide Squad. And I was like, Jay, you hate the fuck out this movie. Why would you watch this to torture yourself? And I was like, well, maybe if I get angry at this, I won't get angry at anything else in life. And so then I watched Jared Leto show up with that horrible hair, them tattoos, and like he sound like an old man who tries to beat off and laugh at the same time. Like he try to masturbate when he comes, he tries to laugh, but he old, so he really can't do it. So he's like, that's kind of, nonetheless, it ain't happening no more. And on top of that, speaking of Harley Quinn, it was rumored that Margot Robbie would not be returning for Suicide Squad 2. Now, if you know, Suicide Squad 2 is going to be written and directed by James Gunn, former Guardians of the Galaxy director. Well, it is said now that she will indeed return for the sequel, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that altogether. All right, let's break down some of the TV shows on Arrow. So the current timeline and the flash forward start to meet, and it gets a little bit weird. What's happening? Like, it's I don't understand the flash forwards. I don't understand really the point to them. I don't think we need it, to be quite honest. We officially reveal that the black dude in the future is Connor Hawke, John Diggle's son, and Mia is actually Black Star is Mia, who is Mia Smoke, who is Felicity and Oliver's daughter. And we find this out at the end of the episode because Felicity gets a phone call saying she's pregnant. Yay. Also, we found out that Stanley, the little crazy ass cellmate of Oliver, he broke out of prison, became the Star City See, try to say some shit 3 times fast, you get slurred up. The Star City Stalker, and it was Star City Slayer or Slayer, yeah, the Star City Slayer, and he was slicing throats and shit. But yeah, I just don't get the flash forwards. I don't. Curtis Holt officially leaves the show because he's going to quote unquote take a job in DC. Echo Kellum has been dope in this show, and I'm mad that he will be gone from it, but I kind of understand if you want to do more things. So all respect to that brother for there. All right, y'all, let's get into Black Lightning. Jen is training more in this episode, and I love it. The fact you're seeing her ready to get her suit. We found out how powerful she is. Jefferson actually turned down getting his old job back. Like, he could have got his job back over Principal Lowry, but then he had that smart thought process of like, yo, I cannot be principal and do for what Garfield needs to be done and still be Black Lightning at the same time. And that takes a lot of guts and courage for a man to, you know, see things from that perspective, even if it is a scripted show. Shut y'all asses up. We got a one of the pods from the Masters of Disaster opened up, and it turns out to be Shakedown, which is cool, but it's played by Jose and Chez. And for a lot of y'all who don't know, I need y'all to go peep out The Game. It was an old show on CW. It is a Salim Akil and Mar Brock-Akil show, and so bringing him in was kind of dope to see his interaction with Cutter, and like him, Tobias basically letting him and Cutter fight for a minute till he shut his ass down. I was like, well, all right now, let's just go ahead and do that. But speaking of Tobias and Cutter, yo, I'm here for the angry albino dude finally getting some to calm his ass down. I'm here for that. And the fact that he was talking to the painting of Tori, and Cutter come walking down the stairs and just look at him like, so you just gonna talk to the painting, huh? You just gonna go ahead and keep talking to the painting. All right, whatever. I did say a whole lot more. If you have not caught my reviews I do with Ashley Victoria Robinson over on the YouTube Jawin channel, please go check those out, man. We have so much fun with those. Black Lightning has been a stellar second season. Most shows have a second season and they typically tend to fall off. They tend to lose their luster. They tend to deviate from what made it great the first season. I've never found myself disappointed in the show. And I know there are a lot of shows that'll disappoint people a lot of times, but I've never found myself disappointed in anything with this show. And so I'm mad that they're taking a break to March 4th, but I kind of understand given the fact that this upcoming Monday, if it is Monday when you're hearing it, is President's Day, and then the following Monday is the Monday after the Oscars. So it only makes sense. March 4th they come back. The Flash. So the Cause and Excess episode, you get Nora trying to change time because Cicada out here still killing. He constantly kills members of Team Flash, one by one. And she tries to manipulate time and fix it 52 times. Get it? DC 52. But here's the problem. You've been doing all this research on your damn daddy. Didn't you find out at some point that Dismog was fucking up the timeline? Take advantage of that. I still cannot personally get into Chris Klein and Cicada. I just can't. I know some people who are like, they love it. Me, that is a personal opinion. I just don't connect with it. You know what I'm saying? And I just still always feel that they did their villains wrong. I understand you got to sell the show in Reverse Flash. Cool. But Zoom could have been better. You wasted Teddy Sears. Season 3, Savitar should have never been that bad guy. Never. But I'm not in the writer's room, so we'll see what happens with that. Also, I think Eobard Thawne is literally manipulating Nora for his own gain. Even though he say he trying to help her keep her daddy from disappearing and make himself look better throughout history, I just don't find that to be true at all. Like, I don't think he is really trying to be somebody different. I think it's a reason. This way, if he helps, it'll probably get him out this prison or whatever the case may be. The Doom Patrol debuted this past Friday on the DC Universe. I'll give you a brief synopsis, right, of what I thought. It's the introduction of the heroes and how they came to be. There's a lot of humor in this show. There's a lot of crude humor. There are a bunch of misfits and miscreants put together. You see their origins. You have some fun with them. You laugh with them. And it's going to be unique to see how much this goes further. I don't want to get full into it, because if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80, you can see my full review for the first episode of Doom Patrol. I'm letting you know there are spoilers in it, so go and watch at your own risk. I believe you will enjoy it, though. I have my opinions on the episode, and it's gonna have to really work to make me a fan. I like the humor. I love Brendan Fraser, but we'll just have to see what goes forward. All right. Now, right now, I want to go, while we're still in DC, it makes it only right that we go into the interview that I had the chance to sit down and talk to my friend, Mr. Hector Navarro. So I got the honor and the pleasure right now of sitting down with somebody who I've become a very good friend with. I've worked with on Screen Junkies News, and I've seen him. We worked together on the Schmodown and even at Collider and different things, and he is everywhere. You now most recently see him on DC Daily, on the DC Universe. I'm having the pleasure right now to sit and talk to my friend, Mr. Hector Navarro. Hector, how are you, bro?
I am fantastic, Jay. I'm honored. That's such a nice introduction. That's great, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, I do this. I tell people I know what I'm doing with this. A lot of people know you. You've gotten super popular in the nerd realm from just talking comic books to RPGs and everything. How did it all come about?
It started because I have loved this stuff since I was a kid, but I started doing improv in like middle school and high school. And I loved it. And this was down in San Diego, where I was from, where I was born and raised. So when I had an opportunity out of college to move to LA, after I was working down there out of college in San Diego for a couple years, I got let go because they ran out of work. This was in visual effects. Okay. So I applied for and got a job at a competitor, which was up here in LA in Burbank. Okay. And I'd always wanted to move to LA, but that was my excuse. I was like, okay, I need work. I'm going to go work for this thing that my college is giving me the education to do. So when I came up here, I started doing more improv a little bit more seriously, got in kind of the improv community, which was great. Through that, met Becca Scott because I was in a class with her. Okay. And she at the time introduced me to the dude that she was dating at the time, who is Zach Eubank of Hyper RPG. Right. And it was one of those things where, like, she met me, she knew me, she got to know me for 2 seconds, and immediately was like, oh, you should meet my boyfriend because he's also a huge nerd. And that's a lot of times that happens. It's like, oh, Absolutely. You like comic books? You should meet this person. One other person in my life that likes comic books. You guys will get along. And most of the time, they're right. Like, we'll end up getting along. You know what I mean? When I'm introduced to people that way. So after I met Zach, a couple months went by, and he was like, he hit me up randomly. He goes, hey, I'm doing this thing at my house. We're streaming online on the internet as a show. Why don't you come over? Because you can do improv and you're nerdy. So I said, sure. So I came over, and it was awesome. Then he got hired at Geek and Sundry, and he had an opportunity to basically bring me on full time. And at the time, I was working at a voice acting agency in Beverly Hills in LA. And he was like, hey, man, how much would it take for you to, like, basically up and quit that job and just come do this? And I said, this is how much it would take. And he goes, I can afford that. Come on over. And it was like a downgrade for me. But at that point, I was looking to kind of get out of that career and go start doing this full time. And I have been so blessed, so fortunate to be able to do this as my sort of normal income. That led to opportunities where like I do stuff for Nerdist, I do stuff for DC, like you mentioned, and that also came about where like on the side I was submitting for like a YouTube contest years ago where they're like, we're looking for a correspondent, and I just like did a video and turned it in, and they really liked it. So yeah, man, it has been all about meeting the people within this community, and most of them are rad, and it's awesome, and then you become friends, and then it just ends up being like, hey, this thing opened up, do you want to come and do this? Hey, I do a show, come and do this show. Whether or not it's paid, it doesn't matter. It's like, oftentimes absolutely. It's not paid. It's like, hey, I host this show, do you want to come on it and talk about comic books and movies or whatever? And then it's like you go and do that, and then from there you'll meet another person who's got some other job and this other opportunity. Absolutely. That's how it goes. So that's how it started for me, is it really came from doing improv and having that foundation of like, oh, I can be on camera and I can be, like funny sometimes, but I can be quick, and I can be, I can do things on the fly, and then also actually loving superheroes and comic books and all that stuff. So that's what it comes from.
So it means I see that a lot, that the improv and stand-up community play a big factor when it comes to the nerd community, especially out here, because of how everything is connected. And I see you got with Hyper RPG, and you helped develop Hyper Heroes with Augustine Rios and Adam Lovick, and that has been amazing for you guys. Before I got a part to do some things with you guys, I watched it, and I love the dichotomy you three have.
Thanks, man.
It's genuine.
Yeah,
it's not forced. It's not just let's try to make this work for camera. It's just a natural thing, and you go further. You go into Collider Heroes, of course. With your knowledge of comic books, you meet the legendary John Snepp, who we all miss. Yeah. And then you were doing things with DC. You were popping over there here and there again, Screen Junkies. And then comes DC Daily. How did that come about? Was it from your connections you had with DC?
Yes, it came about because I was doing a YouTube once a week show for them, where I would show up and talk about their TV shows, their CW stuff, Gotham. Just like once a week, I talk about 3 sort of random episodes of their many shows that they have on here. And through that, I met the sort of directors, producers, the people putting that little part together. Yeah. Some of those same people were like, hey, we're trying to launch DC Universe, which is the platform, which is, we're trying to sort of put everything DC in one place. We're trying to compete in that way. We need to come up with original content, and we're planning to be very ambitious and try to do our own sort of like YouTube style, like big round table discussion type panel show, whatever, where their plan was like, we're going to put a lot of it on YouTube, but then like the meat of it will be on this thing. So that at the end, it's like, hey, if you want to watch the rest of this discussion about a DC thing,
subscribe to the DC Universe.
Subscribe to the DC Universe. So when they told me this a while back, I was like, that's awesome. And they said, would you be interested? I said, absolutely, keep me posted. So it was just kind of this months-long process of like them figuring all that stuff out, and then doing the same sort of thing where like you audition, you do sort of chemistry tests or whatever, to kind of how it ended up being. And then they decided to do, we're going to have a big rotating team of different people. That way, if one of the people, because you know how it is with what we do, you'll get booked on something out of town.
Absolutely.
You have other commitments, whatever. And even now, like one of my teammates on that, like, is going to be heading out of the country for 5 weeks for like a job. And it's like, and it's okay because they have a big sort of rotating team of people. That's what they decided to do versus like 2 or 3, almost like news anchors that are there every day, which is a more of a commitment and a bigger job. So that's how that came about.
And how do you like the chemistry that you have? I've seen there is a big rotating panel. Yeah. Just to name a few, yourself, Tiffany Smith, Harley Quinn, Smith.
Yeah.
It's just, Harley Quinn Smith, Clark Wolf, John Barrowman, Markia McCarty. Yeah. It's so many. Yeah. How is that chemistry amongst you all?
Thankfully, I feel like I knew most of those great people beforehand. Like I never knew John Barrowman, but then met him, and like he's very easy to get along with because it's John Barrowman.
Absolutely.
He like Tino's shaking his head over here, like he's so great. He has so much energy. So I think that the reason I like that chemistry, and I think the reason it works for the most part, is 2 reasons. Number one, I did kind of at least know everybody beforehand. Some of them were friends, some of them acquaintances, whatever. So it's like it's easy to build on that. And number 2, it's also easy to get us together and talk about DC stuff that I already love. When they are nice enough to go, hey, Hector, we're talking about a specific episode of Batman the Animated Series this week. I'm like, great. That's very easy, you know? So to do that with a lot of my teammates on that show, where they're bringing different perspectives. You know, one of the people on the teams is Sam Humphries. He's a DC writer.
Yeah.
So he brings that perspective, that knowledge, and it's like, I love also working with people that know more than you do.
Oh,
you know
absolutely,
what I mean?
yeah.
Because that
It'll
just
open
makes
your
you
mind
better.
up to it.
It'll open your mind up to it. It makes you better. Because I'd like to think I'm a comic book nerd and like I know my DC, and then I show up and then Sam is like, well, that's from this thing, and this thing, and I'm like, that's amazing, you know. And then even just yesterday, last night, and this morning, people are freaking out because I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. Somebody realized and discovered that there's this thing that happened in the 70s. After Gwen Stacy died in Marvel Comics, some publisher in Mexico thought that Mexicans wouldn't want to read Spider-Man anymore. So for 44 issues, which is like years, they hired some guy to write and draw Spider-Man, El Hombre Araña in Spanish, where Gwen Stacy lived. And it got to the point where they even got married. And somebody posted some pictures of this because there was a question on Twitter that were like, what comic book issues that have never been collected would you want to see collected? And this person dropped this bomb, and everyone's like, what the hell? Like, they had no idea that it existed. like Marvel writers and editors had no idea that this existed. So it's so interesting that, like, even within that world, there will always be people that know things that you don't know. You know what I mean? There will always be people that will be bringing a different experience to the table. So that's great.
And that knowledge and experience that other people bring and what you have has made you a phenom throughout this entire industry.
Oh, Jay.
And when it comes, it's just the truth. I mean, I wouldn't be saying these just to try to ass kiss anything. But it brings you to when it comes to Comic Cons.
Sure.
You're like prevalent there. You're doing numerous panels. People are swarming you. How is that feeling? Having fans that's like, oh my God, it's Hector Navarro.
That's really, really nice. It was weird the first time it happened. It was really weird. Because I'm from San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in San Diego. So I've been going to Comic-Con since I was 10 years old when it was about comic books.
Actually, comic books,
yeah. And I've seen it when I was in school, in middle school and high school. I saw it explode into the pop culture phenomenon that it is today. And I love it. I'm not the type of person that's like, it should be about comic books again and it should be smaller. Like, it's crazy and it's great for the city of San Diego, and I love San Diego and I love Comic-Con. So to be able to live in LA, work in LA, but still tell like my employers, like, yeah, I'm from San Diego. I know my way around. And I know my way around specifically Comic-Con, which is the biggest of the conventions. I'm kind of spoiled too. I've gone to other cons and I'm like, yeah, that's cute, that's nice, because I'm so used to the insanity.
What Comic-Con itself is.
So I love it. I love Comic-Con every year. I say that it's my Christmas, birthday, Thanksgiving, New Year's, graduation, all wrapped into one. Like that week is like, it's my favorite.
Well, speaking on the same type of Comic-Con feel, what's it like when people want to bring you into other cons? When they say, hey, Hector, we like you to come here. We like you to come there.
That hasn't really happened too much. I know Tina was trying to help me out with that a while back. It hasn't happened too much, but when there are people that are nice enough on the internet to go, hey, you should come to my city and come and do, and I'm sure you get it all the time as a comic and as, you know what I mean, and
yes.
and yeah, all the time, and it's lovely. It's super flattering. It's
yes,
super cool.
Absolutely.
And I think I've even thought about maybe doing. I'm like, if I did a meetup, would enough people in some other city show up? And that doesn't really happen, and that's fine, and that's totally cool. But I like it. I think it's super nice. I like to travel. We were talking about traveling earlier. A thing that I do anytime I'm in a new city or even a new country is like I'll go to a comic book store and I'll check that.
That's nice.
I'll check out that sort of that environment and see what it's like. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice. I have yet to have a thing happen where like somebody's like, we want Hector Navarro to show up in this city and we will fly him out. Like, that hasn't happened yet, but it would be cool if it did.
I know. I know the same feeling. I get to go to Salt Lake Comic Con now.
Cool.
And I'm like, I need y'all to fly me out.
Yeah,
I don't mind doing it, but that's an extra expense.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I want to close on this. You're doing so much and have done so much. What does the future hold for you?
That is a great question, Jay. The future is I'm going to try to do this for as long as they'll let me, because as you know how this industry works, like one of these big companies could just close any day, close up shop. They get bought by another company and they'll be like, nah, we're going to sell these assets, or we don't care about this sort of thing, or whatever. Or even worse, like somebody will come out to be like an abusive dude, and then
it'll mess up everything.
Jay messes up everything, and I've lost jobs because of that, and that sucks. So my plan is like, I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to get paid right now. I'm trying to do as much as I can for as long as I can and see. I guess the future is to see what other sort of opportunities that could bring. You know?
I know I said this was the last one, but it made me, when you said that, made me think about something. one of the biggest things and the biggest pushes have been recently throughout the internet space has been diversity.
Yeah.
And you see so much of it happening now, where whether it's real diversity or just, hey, we're one and done. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I've really landed on the idea that like if companies want to really go with that, they need to do the behind the camera hiring. They need to bring people in like a producer aspect or the writer's room, or like I'll give you a great example. There's a new toy line coming out from DC, which is like Lucha Explosiva.
I saw the toys, yeah.
So I learned about this maybe 3 days before Toy Fair announced it, because I was doing a thing at DC, and one of my producers was showing me this copy that he had, and it wasn't pictures, it was just like copy of this is what this is going to be. And my first question as a DC fan and as a Latino, I was like, cool, where's Bane? Because he's literally based on a Lucha mask. And he was like, actually, I don't think he's... And he showed me the thing, and the character wasn't there. And so I went, oh, that's weird. They're doing a Latin-based thing
without a primary Latin character
in their lineup, because it was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cheetah, Metallo, Deathstroke. And even Deathstroke has the half and half.
It looks
mask,
like a Lucha.
and I was like, why Deathstroke and not Bane? So I tried to find out, was this decision made in a room where there wasn't a person who could raise their hand and be like, actually, what if we had Blue Beetle, or what if we had Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, or whatever. And I was trying to get to the bottom of what the future for that toy line is, because I'm like, they at least should announce Wave 2 is going to have Bane or something, right? So I had a buddy who's in Toy Fair this weekend, and I asked him to sort of hit them up because he's in New York, and so he went and he sort of got an unofficial confirmation, couldn't hard confirm that they're planning to do some featured thing with Bane at some point in the thing. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Maybe he'll come with a wrestling ring. Maybe he'll kind of a thing. Maybe he'll have a vehicle or something. But it was just a great example of I hope that when they had announced that thing, that there wasn't any pushback of hey, you guys missed an opportunity. Where's Bane? Where's the Latino representation? As opposed to just having our favorite characters kind of play in that space. It's well, you guys could have had that and that representation. So it's a good example of you got to have people that can kind of influence those kinds of decisions, just so that stuff like that doesn't slip through the cracks. So that's what I think.
Because I've been very vocal about it, whereas I've seen a lot of the companies I work for, some other ones, where it's diversity for them is just, we have one and done.
Sure.
It's we have one of this here, one of here, that's our diversity. And it's that's
checklist.
That's not how that should be.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get your thoughts on it, because being a Latino man, because being about diversity, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I want to say, first and foremost, thank you very much for doing this. It means a lot to me.
Jay, thank you,
as a friend and as somebody who has followed you and who respects completely everything you do.
Right back at you.
Make sure you tell people how they can find you and get in touch with you.
Absolutely. You can follow me on the internet at Hector is Funny, and I post all the stuff that I do on there.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up one more time. And while you're listening, clap it in your car or your headphones for Mr. Hector Navarro.
Thanks, Jake.
I want to thank Hector Navarro for spending time to talk with me, man. It was a great time, and I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate your friendship and everything. Make sure you follow him on all social platforms. Hector is Funny, okay? That about does it for this week. Before I go, let me give a bunch of love to the members of the Supervillain Squad on Patreon. You can join my squad as well. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington, okay? So shouts out to Akeem J. Brown, Rudy Rueda, Quentin Paisley Dart, Steve Toes, and I've lost some patrons, and I understand that. I hadn't put as much up there, but I'm putting stuff out there now, and I want you guys to join the squad. I'm begging y'all almost. If I get sensitive and start crying, would y'all join the squad? I know you jump a lot in a lot of other Patreons, but I'm trying to build this. I'm trying to build the video content, trying to build the audio content, and I need you all just a little bit of help if you don't mind. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. I already spelled it out for you. Be sure to rate and subscribe on iTunes, man. Rate and subscribe on iTunes. Rate us on Google Play, but make sure you give us those 5 stars on iTunes. It means the world, okay? That has been all I got for episode 19 of the Mad Titan podcast. I appreciate you all who rock with me each and every week. Until then, I will holla at you next week, though. Take care. I'm out of here. Peace.